The following is a review of the comic and should not be looked at as an endorsement of the creators involved. If you really think that, you should get yourself checked because you are reading things into it that are not there. Also, the quality of this video is pretty low, so if you're expecting higher standards, go check out someone else. What you see is what you get. So thank you and enjoy. Or don't.
Hey guys, StarCraft here, back with March of Deathstroke as we start to close out the Nu52 era of Deathstroke with Justin Jordan coming on board. And at the same time of him working on this particular run, he was also working on Team 7. That was the Nu52 basically trying to take a Wildstorm concept and expand on it. But unfortunately, and he would state this in an interview I remember once for another podcast, the Nu52 Era of Superman podcast, where he was talking once he got on the Superboy that while working on Team 7, he basically got rid of him. He had all these big long plans. He had like a 5-arc plan and everything. And after the first arc, they canceled, and they were ready to cancel the book. So they told him, you got one more arc. So he decided to just condense all of his arcs into the last arc. And it looks like while he was closing up shop, he used Deathstroke to help wrap other things up as well that he couldn't do in Team 7. But that's after the first two issues. The first two have Deathstroke deal with this guy who is, well, very cruel. We open up, a young boy is being told, you can, and here, my friend, is a choice. You can choose him, you, or me. But one of us is going to die. As I'm guessing this is the boy's father, I guess. I don't know. We don't know who it is who's having their head covered. But yeah, the boy shoots the other figure. And then the person who was talking kills him. As he's telling them all, basically saying, now, these were brave men. I'm sure. Good men, probably. But they end just the same. Basically, this guy is apparently immortal. He's able to play up so much punishment. To the point where someone throws a Molotov cocktail, and what does he do? Walks right up to the guy who threw it and grabs him, burning him alive. And eventually the fire died down, and he's like, anyone else? I thought not. And then Slade is being brought in to deal with these guys because apparently there's a huge deposit of lithium there. Yeah, Slade even said this is about batteries. As he basically makes his way in there, meets up with a woman who's part of the resistance. So most of the rest of this issue is him getting all set up. We see the warlord guy standing right outside a balcony, and his head gets sniped. Sniped right off. Sorry guys, still recovering from the bronchitis. But it turns out the guy has enough regeneration to regrow a head. As Slade decides to take to swing on down and deal with a bunch of the military, as he starts, gunning them down and everything, fighting the guy. The artwork on this is pretty good, I should say, by Edgar Salazar. And by the end of it all, looks like these are grenade, and it ends with the whole place blowing up. And then the next one involves him still dealing with some of the soldiers and everything as he fights his way out and gets away. meets up with his contact, or she's not going to appear after this, so name's not really important. As he's meeting up with the resistance to try and see if he can get some aid here. Yeah, they've been smuggling weapons, etc. You really can tell where this is going, though, as well, yeah, they soon get the drop on him. They keep on fighting, just sending everything they got. Rocket launchers can't stop him. Until finally Slade comes on in, slashes the guy's head right off, but he reattaches it. Yeah, that thing. As again, just keep on fighting, putting in all these moves to hurt this guy badly. Yeah, basically people on this side like we could just take everything out on him, as everyone takes that knife and just starts stabbing him. He's then heading off to complete his contract, as he's ready to leaves the gun for the guy. The guy's seemingly ready to pull the trigger on Slade, but instead he takes his own life. I guess committing suicide is the best way. Now we get into these two issues, which lead into the crossovers. And these two, Slade deals with just a bunch of ninjas. Yeah, basically, these issues are pretty quick and easy to summarize without having to. I'm going to show off some of it, but yeah, fight on a train is the bulk of this issue, as he eventually then makes his way to the leader of these assassins. And yeah, they basically been hired. The son wants to take the group into a new direction. Father says it's worked out so far. Son then uses the fight with Slade to kill the father. Then this issue, then again, Slade just keeps on fighting them all and fighting the son. That's all this is. It's just one big fight. We don't even fully find out who hired him until the very end. Also brings up how the son did something that was considered dishonorable among their group. So the group starts to attack him, and he's putting up a bitter fight. Yeah, that's all this is. It's just one big fight until the very end, when Slade finally defeats the guy, and he reveals it was Lynch, the former leader of Team 7, who Slade believes to be dead. Now, for the next 4 issues, it's the last arc of Team 7. This ties into what's going on, as we open up in the middle of the Pacific, where Slade makes his way up to where Lynch is and points his gun right at him. We then jump to 5 years ago, as we meet up with Caitlin Fairchild of Gen 13. We'll get to a bit more about what's her in a little bit, as she's talking with a woman known as Max, but that's Ladytron, basically. Oh boy, we even have a Dr. Henshaw dealing with cybernetics. I think I get what they're going at. They deal with the Spartan program. Again, if you know your Wildstorm, you know who that is. Yeah, Slade is just being good friends with Alex, Caitlin's father, as throughout all of this we were having. Oh Lord, I forgot about this. Ugh. Some body horror there, but this whole arc is basically, like I said, everything else just condensed down, as suddenly all of these cybernetics start going crazy, as Caitlin goes to find Max, and even Max is going crazy, saying that they need help. Oh, poor Ladytron. We then are back in the present day, as Deathstroke shoots at Lynch, but he's able to use magnetic powers to stop it. We're then told Slade says someone's supposed to be dead as we see a hand coming out. This we will not get resolved at until Deathstroke. The rest of the stuff going forward then ends up being more and more with Team 7 as they collapse, which I won't have to go. I'm not going to go into too much details, except that Team 7 hurry their way inside the and they find Caitlin as her father goes and gives her a hug, until all of a sudden then she stabs him as she just keeps saying "Daddy." She's been taken over by the cybernetics and is crying. Now there's been a Caitlin in Ravagers, but we'll soon find out that one's a clone. And as for what happened to the real deal, yeah. We see Dr. Henshaw meet up. This is not Hank Henshaw, as his farm program has just gone nuts. I should point out also that, actually, Slade killed Caitlin, I should point out. He even tells her that later. Meanwhile, one of their own is one of the Spartans took off towards one of the guys named Benson, who's saying core transfer. He transfers his core into this guy, and by the end of it all, well, house blows up, nice artwork, and Benson is now Mr. Majestic. Those of you who know your Wildstorm, that's a Superman equivalent. But here he's man-made instead of being an alien. Even though the Damites are still a thing. Okay, interesting. As the rest of this arc then is them all just fighting in and everything, dealing with Majestic. It's not that much else left with this actually. Just them dealing with it, trying to find Pandora's Box. It's somehow tying into Pandora's Box. And it ends, this issue ends with Majestic getting slammed into the ocean, where we saw that hand earlier. And then the rest of this issue doesn't deal with Majestic at all. It deals with, I take it back. It still deals with Majestic, actually. As he flies on out and everything, they're trying to still get, like I said, Pandora's Box, the Gold Skull, and all that. This is still 5 years ago. Dinah Lance has become Black Canary as she lets out her cry, knocking everyone out, bringing everything down, yada yada. And then apparently Amanda Waller shoots at Lynch and saying, "Consider this my resignation." Wait, no, that wasn't Lynch. That was sorry, Dinah's Dinah's husband. That's who that was, I think, or was Lynch. I can't even tell right now. But basically this ends here with everyone believing to be dead. Then we get into Ravagers as Slade has been sent in to work with Harvest from Titans. He was the one behind the Ravagers. Nothing major to show except at the very end we see this one of the characters who ended up being a young child is grabbed by Slade, stabbed, and seemingly engulfed in flames. We'll get into what that knife does. As then, Rose, who's been with Slade's daughter, has been meeting up with, pulling Kayla aside as Slade shows up. These two have been trying to hunt down the Ravagers, and her and Warblade are now wondering, they don't want to go back to the colony. But Slade shows up, whatever plan they did goes out the window as they unleash the animal vegetable mineral man. Oh boy. As basically this soon leads into a big fight and everything. They deal with the animal vegetable mineral man, as Warblade, Rose's ally, her partner, deals with him and with Slade. As well, then it basically leads into Rose and Caitlyn heading off. Warblade gets his head shredded off. As Slade charges right after Thunder, Lightning, and Terra, and Beast Boy. Then we get into the whole bit about finding out that Caitlyn is a clone and everything, which I gotta say, I love that smirk on Rose's face. We then go into the final issue as Slade stabs Thunder, then Lightning. Terra attacks and she gets stabbed, and then Beast Boy just starts, because he loved her, starts to lose it as he just goes to town on Slade, even breaking his helmet, knocking his helmet right off. We have Caitlyn dealing with all of her clones, and eventually this ends with Beast Boy believed dead. He's not. But Slade feels like, okay, loose end dealt with. Slade then stabs and seemingly kills Rose as she disappears, and then he then confirms that he killed the original Caitlyn to her as he stabs her. Then we find out that Blade did not kill him. It was a future science that for some reason was able to transport them and rematerialize them. Then turns out part of the agreement was to take Rose, as everyone else is under Harvest's control again, ending that series. Now, why did I go through all that? Because we first pick up with the ending of Team 7, where all that water and everything from Majestic's attack, kamikaze attack. But now, given where we left off at the end of Team 7, number 7, Majestic is flying out as Mr. Lynch says we target him, as he sends a nuke right at Majestic. This is all to get him pissed off, as we see Slade alongside Terra and Rose. And see, this is where we connect to the Team 7 and Ravagers stuff. As we then also deal with the stuff from Liefeld. And it turns out Jericho is in control of Grant and Alani, who seems to be working with Lynch, who thinks he's controlling Jericho. When Jericho has just been waiting for his chance to get it. They want control of Majestic. Jericho can do that. But he is in complete control. He can control just about anyone but Lynch, and it would take too long to take control of Rose and Slade. But he is in control able to control Terra, and is in control of everyone else. As this basically leads to a bit of he's trying to take over. Alani shoots at Slade. And everything. They're Rose is trying to take sense into her brother. Then Lynch pulls the gun right at Jericho, pulls the trigger, and Majestic shows up, completely in Jericho's control. We then go into the final issue of this particular run, as Majestic is just shredding the place apart as he flies off. Alani has been pinned down and is finally free from Jericho's control, and basically says, "It wasn't me. I still love you," as she dies. Wow, all that build up for that. Jericho is now alive, and his body was left behind. Terra's ready to kill him, but is pointing out, of course, if you do so, he'll be stuck in Majestic's body. Which they don't want. So Terra starts going, fighting Majestic. As that's all this fight is. And we also find out what Rose's abilities are that eventually gets discarded later on. Apparently she has the ability, and this is why she was Superboy's handler as well, to negate invulnerable abilities. Not completely, but just enough to make stuff, them feel the pain and everything. As but once they knock out Majestic, Jericho takes control of everyone else. is ready, threatening, with Grant, and then Slade realizes what he has to do. Jericho is too dangerous, and even if it means sacrificing a chance at redemption with Rose, he kills both his sons, stabbing the sword right through Grant and getting Jericho. Then knocking out Rose as he's lamenting, not knocking her, just kicking her side as he's lamenting what he had to do. Eventually, Argus shows up, takes Majestic, and Slade heads on off, ending this. And I gotta say, this was interesting. It's more of a dealing with the Team 7 stuff than it is with Slade, but I think Justin Jordan actually did a pretty good job wrapping up so many of his own loose ends and dealing with the loose ends with Jarek that Liefeld's run had built up. He didn't have to, but he did. So for what this was, it was an interesting story dealing with Majestic, who I've been a fan of. And we still have you ever seen a new proper reincarnation, reintroduction of the guy. I think this was a interesting send-off. Not the best closures we'll be getting, but for what it was a good closure nonetheless. Confusing, but still good. Tune in 9 tomorrow as I start with the first arc of Tony Daniels' DCU run, as we deal with Slade being on the reactions to Slade appearing in Arrow, where he was played by a younger man. Let's make Slade younger in the comics. Yeah. Well, see you guys later.